Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Iowa soccer supporters. I'm Ben Brackett, across the way from my good buddy and co-host Blake Sievers. Siebes, how are you?
I am good. I'm good. A good little weekend, so I'm buzzing. The weather's great, and we're back here at the what do we call this? The lounge?
Yeah, I don't know, but we're back to a trio as well. Apparently, we didn't get enough requests for Mr. Vorster's return. So what was once 4 becomes 3 again. Forster, hopefully we'll see us soon, though, at the state tournament, and that's what we're here to talk about because we are pumped. We're just a little bit over a week away, I think, from first kick, which will be all over the state of Iowa, apparently. We'll talk about that here in a minute. But let's talk girls soccer real quick because we spent a good amount of time talking about boys soccer, but we've got a resident expert right here between us, the Titan tactician, Matt Sahig. How are you, Matthew?
I'm doing good.
Also, Dowling Catholic head coach, hopefully a contender for 3A, just because we love Matthew, but we'll get into that too. Let's just, Blake, what do you think? But before we start at 1A and just kind of run through that quick, let's talk about the venue change because that is probably forefront, I would guess, for people's. Yeah, I mean, just like what are we thinking about?
Yeah, so this is good actually because we've been told we hassle Ethan, our producer, a little bit.
This is a good soundbite.
Yeah,
for
we
you.
interviewed Gary Ross, who is with the girls' high school athletic union, about all things girls soccer because he is I don't know, we go back. He's a Johnston Dragon guy, so
Maybe you could post that this week.
yeah.
Just
So
a
we got
thought.
a pod that we interviewed Gary months ago about all sorts of things girls soccer related, and that'll come out. So, but in studio down in the TH Media lair. And so like you said, Ben, kind of girls are moving up to Ames, and they are Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday this year. And Tuesday, Thursday are on what we used to call the intramural fields. Technically, they are called the lead recreational fields. And then the finals are all at the super cool Cyclone Sports Complex, but the Iowa State Girls Stadium, which we've been there, and then now it's all grass.
Yep, should be
super, super awesome.
Yeah, and I, for some of you folks that maybe aren't as familiar with the quote intramural fields, I think those may also be referred to as like the fields where you play the Iowa games. I think, is that right?
Used to be. I don't know.
Ethan went to
man.
Iowa State. Yeah, Ethan knows. Well, the Lead Recreation Center, is that where like the Iowa games are played? Okay. Club soccer plays there. Okay, so
The boys club soccer back when you you played there. So they are not the intramural fields. Okay.
Ooh, whoa, breaking news here at the pod. Ethan is back to Evan. Evan's been promoted to his original name that he was given.
So I guess I apologize. They're not at the quote intramural fields.
It'll be interesting to just see it though, right? Because it's on a college campus. You've got it's all grass fields. They're all in the same location, so it'll be similar feel in theory to county, which is something that the boys are getting away from. So we'll see if that is just an advantage for the atmosphere and all that kind of fun stuff, right?
And that
Blake?
that Tuesday. So you got games at 10, 10:15, 11:45, and noon in 1A. And then you got games at 1:30, 1:45, 3:15, and 3:30 for 2A. And then for the nightcap, 5, 5:15, 6:45, and 7. So
It's gonna be a big day.
that's going to be, if all those games are right there, it's going to be, they've just taken over the best day of soccer in Iowa, haven't they?
It should be fun. And we also, say what you will about the split, but the girls always put on a great event. The girls union, the girls athletic union, they always put on a great event. They've got the pink matching shoes, and they've got the little air conditioned media tent too, which we like, or like stand. I don't know. There's some good things that really the boys totally miss out on, but it's in Ames, and so we got to drive. Nothing.
Yeah.
Well, so I've got.
Are we gonna take the kick and board van?
Well, we
We need windows.
we need if hopefully it doesn't rain because there are no windows in that thing. So go ahead, Matt.
Well, that's a good point. The rain. That's what I'm thinking about. So I haven't. I need to drive up to Ames and just go look at them. Maybe I will if we
might
win.
be premature.
Yeah, we'll win on. If we win on Friday, then we'll go drive up to the lead recreational fields.
We'll take the van.
But I mean, the schedule doesn't say how many fields there are, right? But I'm looking at Blake's computer here, and so that is 12 games, right? So on grass, if it does rain, my question is, what is the like?
Well,
I mean,
well,
at county, right? You've got.
Let's use our resources. Evan, how many fields are there? How many fields are there at the Lead Recreation Center? 2. Literally? Yeah. Wow.
Okay.
So I mean,
Very
we should check. We
Could
should
get
double
sloppy.
check.
Would that make sense though, Matt? Really quick, because kickoffs are at 10 and 10:15, and then
Yeah,
not
you're right.
again until 11:45 and noon.
Yeah,
So
you're
it's
right.
really.
Might-
I mean, that
So
does
there might
make
be 2
sense.
fields.
Yeah.
Right.
Look at the smart guys over here.
So think about this. That 6:45 and 7 o'clock game.
Could get sloppy
That is going to be
on a wet day.
It's like the old Kentucky Derby this year, right?
I mean, even on a dry surface,
This will
that
be
grass
interesting.
is
Well,
going to get
okay.
beat to you know what.
So
It'll be
beat it to the ground.
true.
Yeah.
Well, think about it on Thursday too, right? Like they only have 2 fields. They're playing basically at the same time the semifinals,
Yeah.
and that is.
be
We didn't
interesting.
even realize. I love this. No, it's a
Now,
little impromptu.
I mean, at
I was gonna say,
county,
we're learning always.
they played on the stadium field, obviously in the same fields
Oh yeah.
over and over again.
And over.
but 4 fields they had.
But you also have a professional grounds crew at county, like all year round, right?
Well, you don't think the Iowa State grounds crew is going to be on this?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know how. I mean, I'm sure they have a grounds crew.
We've got some.
Right, but I'm
We should get
just
the old man
wondering.
or Mike.
I'm just wondering what the quality looks like. Obviously, Iowa, the girls have association probably researched this and have got some different things in the contract to keep the fields up to speed. But I don't know. It's interesting because it's not a soccer complex, right? I mean, it's soccer fields, but it's not like something that everyone else is used to playing on right now. And the other huge factor is it's grass all the way through, right? So it's quarterfinal, semifinal, final, grass all the way through. For Dowling, we have played 1 game on grass this year, all year. And so we have practiced once on grass. And so it's going to be a major transition for everyone who probably trains on turf to getting onto grass. And the game is totally different. We played Lincoln on the grass, and the game is 50% slower, right? The ball does not bounce true. And so I would say the ball is inbounds more often because the game is slower.
100%.
But the touches are also wanting, for a little bit better quality because you're not getting a true bounce. So it's going to be it's totally different. Last year obviously you'd have the boys and the girls go from grass and then onto the turf for semifinals and finals, which to me didn't necessarily make a whole lot of sense either. I think you should just have it consistent all the whole way
The
through.
girls stayed on grass at county.
Oh, did they for semifinal and finals?
Yeah.
They didn't go to Medicom last year?
No.
Oh, okay.
Remember, Matt? Like,
I guess I don't remember.
no, I think it is. I love it that they're actually on grass. It does. It poses some potential issues and challenges. But man, I've been on grass and turf a lot this spring, and the grass is like I've got a new appreciation for it.
If you get a good surface.
Correct. That is, you're right, 100%.
The grass at county I've always thought is just too thick. So you need something that more resembles turf, like to have a really nice grass surface. But I mean, I guess we'll see how it goes.
Okay, so bracket, where do you want to go?
Well, let's talk about the 1A. We'll just quick, real fast. It looks like if you go to the brackets, like we're not even going to do the brackets. We're just going to look at who's left, right?
Yeah, so
Or
the
do we
girl,
know
I mean,
that?
this is kind of a little bit weird, right? Because the girls have played their first round of regionals, because tonight is Monday. And then the semifinals are tomorrow
Wednesday.
Wednesday, sorry. Yeah, today's Monday, so Wednesday, because you guys play Wednesday, Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes.
And I'm just looking through the top ends of these brackets really fast in the 1A girls, and like everybody's getting 10-0'd. So like if you're a top team in 1A,
Wow.
Not every single one, but almost every single one. I'm gonna go with this 9 out of 10. Sorry, not 9
What's
out of
tough,
10.
right?
7
1A
out of-
is very small, so you've got a lot of private schools. You've got a lot of kids that are out for it that haven't played
You've got a lot of rural schools.
Correct.
In contrast. So yeah, so I think it's pretty simple for us. Not simple, but like as far as looking at the power index, if these teams are in the top 10, they've gone through. They've won their first game. So it looks like what are we looking at here?
So I'll just pick one out
Yeah,
really
please
quick,
do.
Ben.
Sorry,
Region
struggling
7.
news.
So you've got some big time powers here. You got Gilbert and Nevada. Gilbert is, I would say now, I would think they can now say they are kind of a traditional power. They are the 1 seed in there, and then Nevada was not in 1A last year, were they? Didn't they win the 2A?
It does
'Cause we
sound
talked
correct. That
to-
does
yeah.
sound correct. Yeah.
And then they go up against Colfax Mingo, who is 11-1. So again, I don't know where we're going with that, but I would say that's a
Some interesting
big deal.
matchups.
Yeah, interesting. I like that, Ben.
Yeah. So, I think when we look at it, you look at number 1 is Denver. They're 17-0. Their schedule ranking is a little bit lower than the number 2 seed, who's 15-2, Bishop Heelan. Sioux City Bishop Heelan, a perennial powerhouse in 1A girls soccer. They're unique in a way because they are the only squad that has ever given us the old Dikembe, which is the old no when we asked for a halftime interview.
Not once, but
Twice, indeed.
What school is this again?
Bishop Heelan.
Bishop Heelan?
and
Really?
I'm not.
I'll say
all
it. Sean
good.
Mansfield. I
Yeah,
think
okay,
that's yeah.
okay.
Come on, Sean. Like
We would've
everybody
loved to
else
talk to
does it.
him.
We love it. We love to
Anyway.
pick your brain. I'm
Yeah,
like,
I know. Also, they're a good squad, so it looks like they might be.
Is that a Catholic school?
it is.
It looks like they may be one of the teams to beat. Then you've got Hudson Trainer, Center Point Urbana, the Storm and Pointers, Dyke New Hartford, who even after graduating, what was the young lady's name that was like a stud?
Miss Hoffman.
Yes, that's right, Miss Hoffman. Des Moines Christian, Davenport Assumption. Davenport Assumption is the 8 seed right now. They're 10-4. Last year is the first time they haven't won the state tournament in, years and years. So it'll just be interesting. We love the 1A. 2A, also, what's it look like there? Potentially, locally, you've got Dow Center Grimes.
What's their outfit going to be this year? I mean, surely they're making it.
That's my favorite part. I would assume they're going to make it too. They're 10-4, 6-0 in their conference, but then they've probably lost some games to some higher seeded teams. We have maybe some inside info on them potentially if we wanted. Matt, how's the game against them the other night in the scrimmage? Dowling Catholic, DCG.
They're good. They're good.
Insider info.
Yeah, they're good.
You get a result out of that or no?
Yeah, I think it was just a scrimmage. So, but I think I would not underestimate them. Even though I think they're not a 1 seed this year, right?
Oh no, they'd have to. Well, they're 2 seed overall. They must be a 1 seed.
Sorry, they're 2 seed overall. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So, you have to give. I think you have to give a little thought to the fact that they've won it now 2 or 3 times in a row.
This will be a 3-peat in theory, I believe.
Yeah, and I think I'll say
4-peat?
it. They've got a cakewalk
Is it a 4-peat, Sievers?
to
Dan James,
they
let
got a
us know.
cakewalk to Ames. I don't know. I'm trying to look it up. I was
Wish
trying
there
to
were
delay.
better
I was trying to
stands.
stall, and I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah. Well, so other local teams, you got Norwalk, North Polk.
Francis Lee, there you go.
There you go, Francis Lee. Then you've got Spencer, Independence way up there in northern Iowa, Lewis Central from Council Bluffs, North Scott out of Davenport. Adele, DeSoto Member, Bondurant. These are some of the top teams. We'll see who ends up at the state tournament. 3A, again, just because it's the big class, got a little bit more of a presence there. Let's kind of focus in on that real quick and talk about what I'm going to say is probably a pretty tricky all the way around. It doesn't seem like it's a closed off field at all. It's an open field, right?
Should we just break it down real quick?
We can, but it's open, right? Or do you think there's
I don't
do you
think
think
it
there's
is.
a quick? Ooh, what do we think?
I think Maddie Smith and Tony Gabriel are the favorites.
All right. Well, let's
Sorry,
let's
Chris.
go through it.
Centennial, but yeah, I do. I think they've been dominant all season, and
Well, so that's where we start, right? And that's in Substate Region 1 for 3A.
correct.
They beat East the other day. No, I'm sorry. They play East. East beat North. R.I.P. North to my Polar Bears. Best of luck to all those young ladies and their future seniors. Northwest will play East.
I mean, Northwest is going to get through. I'll just say it. Let's move to number 2, Region
And then-
2, Ben.
Well, I'll just.
you wanna say
I've just
something,
got
Ben?
just
I love
one-
it.
just
I
love
one
it.
comment. I wouldn't underestimate Ames. We didn't play them this year, but they've kept it close in a few games. I'm thinking particularly against Valley, if I'm remembering correctly. I think they only dropped that game 1-0.
I think
to
Blake's
Valley.
also he's a little biased because
And
he used
so-
to share a room with Maddie Smith.
No, Maddie Smith took my bedroom, Ben. I didn't share it. He took it
Sorry, my
for
fault.
4 years.
Okay,
You know,
well,
we played Northwest too, and they're very good. I don't disagree that they're one of the favorites. I mean, they've, like you said, they've taken care of most people all season long. Their only loss on the season was to a Nebraska team, Gretna East, I believe. But otherwise, not in Iowa. I think they've drawn 2 games and then won 10. So, they've held that number 1 spot all season long. I'm just saying, I wouldn't. There's so many of these girls' games that have gone different ways and been close that I wouldn't underestimate Ames. That's my only point.
all right. Well, we know where Blake stands. We know where Matt stands. We're
Ben,
gonna
you have
move
any
on to
thoughts?
Region 2. I don't.
Okay. Same. I would say the same thing for Region 2. Valley, I hate to say cakewalk, but they're going to get through.
Rob Chapman, is this or is this not his last season? Every year we hear that it might be, it might not be. He wants to go out on a win. He wants to go out with his daughter, but I don't think his daughter's there anymore. So, we'll see. Hopefully they get a win because I'm a Tiger. Region 3, what do you think? Or Matt, what do you think? I mean,
Well-
Valley's giving you guys.
I mean, they
the
lost
business
to
a
they
bit.
lost to DCG earlier in the year. I think that's
Yeah,
interesting. They've had some injuries. They lost to Northwest as well, but
yeah. I mean, for
look
me,
at their region, Matt. I struggle to think they're not going to get through or out of that.
I mean, Valley is the favorite to get through. Clearly, they should get through. They've got a sophomore named Olivia Rotich who caused us all sorts of problems when we played. They thumped us 4-0.
Her dad is like an unbelievable golfer, by the way.
Have you played golf with him?
No, but he shoots like below 80, like 70s.
I mean,
We're gonna get some people that say that's not unbelievable.
Yeah, I
but
know.
I'm impressed.
Yeah,
I'm
I
personally
would be-
super impressed.
I
There's
wonder,
more to
nothing
that
to do
story?
with this.
I wonder if
but-
she's a good
Is he
golfer.
gonna do the
then, too.
golf outing? Quick plug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
Well,
hey,
wait.
hey,
Look at that, Ben. It all goes full circle. When's the golf outing, man?
So even
August.
Evan has been putting some awesome posts out there. We're about to see who has the best swing between me, Blake, Matt. But August 22nd, shotgun start, 12 p.m. at Toad Valley. Get there. Should be super fun. It's always like the best day of the year. Despite the weather, we always have the most fun. Anything else? Sorry.
Well-
What's his name?
Abraham.
Is he going to join?
He has
Call
to
him out,
now. We've
call
called
him
him out.
out.
He has to
Call
now
him
that we've said.
All right, go on.
So ahead, Matt.
Sorry.
That's all right. Well, I mean, his daughter is. I mean, if she's a goal scorer, so if she is on and scoring goals, Valley is not only a favorite, I think, in the Substate, but they could easily win the whole thing, in my opinion. There's a lot of to me, the girls' side is up for grabs, but they're an absolute contender. Cedar Rapids Kennedy is another team I wouldn't overlook. We played them our first game of the season in Cedar Rapids. They've got a couple of really crafty strikers when we played them up front that I didn't see in the film I watched from last year. I think they dropped their first few games, but then it looks like they've come on strong towards the end here and finished with a winning record, at least in the regular season. So I think I would watch out for Kennedy. They're a team that could upset someone if you overlook them. I don't know much about Iowa City High or Pleasant Valley because we didn't play them.
The only thing I'll add here is it's interesting that Valley is a central Iowa school, and you got 3 eastern Iowa schools. So, I think the girls' union has done it pretty much, quote, by seed, by ranking, no matter where, I don't want to say no matter, but for the most part, where you're at.
Well, and think about that, too. These teams are going to have to be traveling in. 7 o'clock kick, Valley versus Iowa City High. They got to come to, Tiger Stadium. That's 2 hours on the bus. I think that makes a difference. And then I'm assuming Valley, if they come through, whoever's got Valley in the Substate final has got to travel as well.
Let's look at Region 3 real quick. Urbandale with a big 6-0 victory over Waterloo West gets them an opportunity to play Ankeny Centennial on the top end of the bracket. Centennial might be too much.
I think they are again.
On the bottom
Shocked.
side, you've got Roosevelt and Marshalltown. But, yeah, I think you're probably right, Blake. It's been a long time since we've seen a...
Chris Allen's experience, he's been there, he's done it. A lot of his girls have been there and done it, too. So I would really be shocked if they don't walk through this.
I would reiterate that. I think that's... obviously we've played them. I think that they are probably the most dangerous team in the entire state going forwards collectively as a group. They change it quickly in terms of from side to side. They get their left and right back forwards and into the attack. They pinned us in pretty good for a large portion of the game, and we were actually quite good that game when we played them, but we were also under pressure the whole game. So they're another team that they've kind of been up and then down and up, not too much, but they are, to me, one of the favorites to win the whole thing too as well. I don't see Urbandale causing them any problems, and then the bottom 2 teams in that lower half of the bracket, I don't see either of those teams causing Centennial any problems either.
All right, we're going to jump Region 4 real quick and come back to that. We're going to treat that as our last region. Let's go to Region 5.
Yeah, thanks for the heads up, Ben.
Yeah, well, you're welcome. This is how you get genuine content. We're going to jump to Region 5 because we don't want to talk about Region 4 till the end. Region 5, our Lincoln Rail Splitters here, our local squad, they won their playing game. They beat Cedar Rapids Jefferson the other night. They'll play Ankeny, the Hawks, and then on the other side of the bracket, you got Cedar Falls and Prairie. Ankeny, right. The Hawks, I assume are going to be probably too much.
Let me just jump in real quick, Ben.
Please
give a shout out to Tiger over at Lincoln. Done an unbelievable job, I think, building numbers, getting girls engaged, getting girls to play over the last 3-4 years. Is that right, Ben? They're entering every event that we have in Des Moines. And just literally girls that just want to play, want to have a good time. And I do. Tiger, well done, man, because I know there's challenges. We talked a little bit about the Lincoln boys as well, the North girls and boys. And I think both schools at Lincoln and North the staffs have done a great job of getting kids to play.
Yeah, I was just trying to look quick at some names that I'm going to totally blank. So we'll keep going. I feel like I'm not looking at the correct roster here. But hopefully Lincoln shows themselves well, and like you said, Coach Tiger doing an awesome job over there. And I went and helped those young ladies with a few sessions early in the season, and that sweet new stadium over there, like the turf they've got, it's awesome. And they were buzzing to get out there and, improve. And it seems like Tiger had them going in the right direction. So,
I don't know. I mean, they beat Hoover, they beat East, they beat North. So I forget the new conference alignment, right? Because back in our day, it used to be kind of strictly DMPS, and Roosevelt beat them. But no, I think he's done a tremendous job, and clearly the girls love playing because the numbers keep growing.
Right on. Well, so let's now jump then to Region 6.
Well, go back to 5 real quick because, let's not forget about the lower half of this bracket
I'm
here.
sorry.
Well, let's give a little love to the Cedar Falls and Prairie groups. If you look at them, both those teams, they've got, they've both got pretty good records, 9-4-2, 9-3-3. They've both played. So Cedar Falls, this is of note. They played Centennial just a couple of weeks ago, on the 20th. Actually, not a couple of weeks ago. They played Centennial and lost 4-0. They also beat Prairie 1-0 earlier in the season. So I think that what that tells us is that lower game is going to be quite close to get to the Substate final. And then if history repeats itself, they're going to have a tough task against Centennial. Prairie on the other side.
I mean Ankeny, Matt. Sorry.
What's that?
So go back really quick, Matt, because
Are they against
they
Ankeny?
only lost to Ankeny 1-0 earlier in the season.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Sorry.
Right. That's what I meant. So then if you flip over to Ben's laughing at me. Prairie.
Thanks for keeping it straight there, Steve.
They're a little sort of all over the board here. They beat Roosevelt 3-0, but then they lose to Kennedy 5-0. And then they beat Ankeny 2-1.
It's a non-divisional matchup, appears
right?
to be.
So those are just some really bizarre results, because a win over Ankeny earlier in the season at 2-1, and now they got to feel somewhat good about that matchup, right?
I would agree. You're right.
So that bracket is sort of up for grabs. Now, I expect Ankeny to go through. I will tell you, Ankeny absolutely smacked us 6-0. It's not a great memory for us. They have some kids that can score goals. Ava Paoli, she gets forward. She's a good little player. And then they've got Allie Mackey, who I think is an Iowa commit. So they're really dangerous going forward. I can tell you on the goals they scored against us, they countered very quickly. And so, they haven't. I don't think Ankeny scored a ton of goals all year in a game except against us. But so it just
I'm biting my tongue right now.
Well, it'll be interesting though, this bracket. That Substate final will be interesting. I think Ankeny's going to come through. I think they're going to remember that 2-1 loss, and they're probably going to roll them in the Substate final because they'll be ready.
That is the beauty of all this, is that a lot of these teams have played, so taking a second bite of the apple is always an interesting experience. Let's go to Region 6. Johnson will take on Sioux City West on the top side of the bracket, and Southeast Polk, Seavers, your Rams, against Mason City on the bottom side of the bracket. Johnson, with Coach Schaefer, a powerhouse, recent champion 2 years ago. Matt, if I recall, they gave you a
Johnson?
Yeah.
Yeah, they beat us 2-1.
That's
Thanks,
right.
Ben.
Well, so they beat you, and then how'd you guys do on Southeast Polk?
They beat us 1-0.
So this could be a tricky bracket for Old Saheg.
Well, this one. Well, I'm not in this bracket. We're not.
Well,
in
I
this
know,
bracket.
but whoever gets through.
So
through,
I think this one's really, it's up. This bracket has probably got the most parity in it whatsoever for the Substate.
I'm just looking
final
at this,
that we've talked to so far.
I'm just looking at the whatever the wins and losses, and Johnson's 8-3-4, Sioux City West is 6-9-2, Southeast Polk is 7-6-2, and Mason City is 10-6-1.
This is
records
interesting, right? Because I think Southeast Polk has the best player on the field, Sophie Pearson. Very good. But what does that mean when you play 11-11? I don't know. But
So-
I think she's done really, really well. And
The other player too that is good on Southeast Polk is number 8, Brooke Myers. I'll tell you on the goal they scored against us. I mean, she came out of nowhere, and we hadn't seen her the pace that she had in the game. She's tall, she's strong, and she just like bolted all the way down the line, beat our left back, got into the box. Our left back actually had a great tackle, but she did well to just go over, right? And she was able to draw the penalty, and it was the difference in the game. Johnston, then on the other hand, I'm just looking. I think it's going to be Johnston and Southeast Polk go into that Substate final.
Two of the big schools.
well, Schaefer's
going
got
head-to-head.
him. I mean, Schaefer's been there, done that again. Like, he's won a state title.
Yeah,
He's done really well.
Yeah, he's got a player, Lydia Liu, I believe, who's their threat going forward. They've got a very good goalkeeper as well, which makes a big difference.
Is that old Delaney?
Delaney Ford, yep.
Oh, my
and then
goodness.
her brother is a coach in the team, Dominic, who actually, when we played him, he was doing most of the coaching in the game, and I thought he was giving great information to their players.
Somebody must have
he's-
coached that boy when he was younger to give him some good information.
So but he's got a very influential role in that group and how that team plays. Just having stood 20 yards from him while he was shouting his orders.
Great boy, by the way. He's a super good kid.
Yeah. So, but I mean, here's the thing about the girls' side is you get a striker and a good goalkeeper. You've got, and then some quality in between. You're a contender, and that's what Johnston has. They've got a solid group in the middle. They've got a kid that can put the ball in the net, and then they've got a goalkeeper who can keep it out of the net. So I'd look out for them. I don't know if I had to pick who's going through. I'm going to pick Johnston in that Substate final, but it's going to be close for sure.
Well, I'm really curious now when we get to Region 7 and 8, before we circle back to the old Region 4, Region 7 and Region 8, both East heavy. And so I'm just kind of curious what you know of these squads. So Region 7, Dubuque Senior won their playing game against Cedar Rapids, Washington. They'll play Linmar. Linmar's 13-1.
Or 13-3, one of the two.
Sorry. Thank you for correcting my poor eyesight. See,
With the glasses
I'm
on,
sorry.
Ben.
You're right,
So
you're
here's a
right.
YouTube plug. Let's interrupt it one more time.
I don't like these glasses quite as much.
Get on the YouTube, see what where we're at.
I
what
just
we're
can't
talking
find
about.
my other ones. Anyway, okay, well, I can see that now. Anyway, on the opposite end of the bracket, you've got Muscatine, who are 10-1-3 against Dubuque Hempstead. Presumably, we'll get a Linmar Muscatine matchup. I believe you guys played Linmar, Matthew.
No, we've not played any of these teams. So I don't know. I really don't know much about these teams. And I don't know much about Muscatine at all. They've had some. They started.
Well, it's on the Mississippi River.
Well, I've been on bed to Muscatine, Ben, but they started the season I think off of people's radar, and then they just sort of slowly climbed into the mix. They've only got one loss on the season, right? Which was to who's
Davenport Central.
Okay. Which is an interesting result, right? Davenport Central is 8-4-1. Are they at 3A school? I don't know. But Davenport Central scored 3 goals in the second half of that game to win 4-2. So that's an interesting result. I always think Muscatine teams are just tough teams to play because they're usually big and strong and compete and they're physical. That's just the teams I've played even on the club side of the game. So I wouldn't want to play Muscatine. But Linmar's been hanging around that sort of 4 to 6 spot, I think. In terms of the power rankings. Am I right on that? Most of the season?
Yeah, they're 7th right now, and Muscatine
Yeah.
is 13.
Right. Muscatine's 13,
Correct.
and they've got 1 loss.
Correct.
That's interesting.
Strength of schedule comes into play there, right? You talk about the ELO rankings, Muscatine's strength of schedule is 49.
Yeah.
It's kind of it's quite a bit lower than anybody else around them.
Interesting. Okay.
All right, so let's. We don't really have a clear. We don't have a clear pick there, but we'll see. Maybe Muscatine, maybe Linmar.
Linmar's going to come through that one, I think.
All right. Region 8, Davenport North beat Davenport West with a playing game with a whopping 8-0 victory. That's a big one. They'll play Iowa City Liberty. Iowa City Liberty's 13-1-2. Mm-hmm. So Liberty, another one of those. It's maybe like on the higher end. Then you've got an interesting matchup on the other end. You got Bettendorf against Davenport Central, who we mentioned earlier. 10-4-3 for Bettendorf. 10-4-1 for Davenport Central. So like really tight, like at least based on record, probably based on the types of opponents they've played. Very interesting matchup there. And then they'll play Liberty. So like assuming, right? Let's just assume Liberty based on they've only lost a game all year. They'll go through, but then they've just got to play two super competitive teams.
So it's super
one
interesting.
of two super competitive teams. I'm sorry.
Because one, Bettendorf state champion.
Mm-hmm.
Two, they beat Davenport Central 2-0 earlier in the season.
That's right. Bettendorf has the really, really good player.
She's grown. I think
Yeah,
she's
she
graduated.
graduated.
Yeah,
No, she's
yeah.
still got one more season, doesn't she?
Oh, I don't think so, Ben.
I was gonna say.
Roster. Her name was Carson Bohanic, right?
Yes.
She's not on the roster. Oh, yeah, she is. There she
I
is.
was gonna say.
Wait a second.
Yes.
It says she's a sophomore. Wait. Am I?
No, she's a senior. She's only played in 2 games. So
She
there's
hurt?
an injury in there.
Must be.
Or is she saving herself for next year? I don't know.
Wow. Based on the
I
All
clicked.
right, guys. Get into our DMs. Let us know because we actually, we're
Yeah,
pretty
we know.
fair, I think. We claimed, it's like, let us know. We don't know.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so here's the thing. I mean, if she were to show up in the Substate games and start playing, I mean, that is a game changer.
She's
Right?
that's what I was gonna say is just based on the way she plays, from what I've seen, like there's no way she's sitting out Matthew.
I mean, she's taken 2 shots in 2 games, so there's something going on. We just don't know.
What games is she playing?
That's going to be a challenge there, Matt. I'm not sure how you
All
figure
right.
it
Well,
out.
so that's gonna be an interesting Iowa City Liberty, Bettendorf, Davenport Central. Those are like the real kind of contenders out of that Region 8. And I just figured we'd circle back to Region 4 just because it'd be the one that this guy next to us would have the most to say about. Despite their 6-8-1 record, the Dowling Catholic Maroons sit at the bottom of the bracket they'll play Sioux City East who's 10-5-2, which is definitely going to be, this comes back to the ELO. They're going to you guys host the game, even though you've got a losing record.
4th toughest schedule.
4th toughest schedule. So it's that's why I'm saying it comes into play. And then on the other side of the bracket, you've got Waukee 7-1-6 ties.
James Brook, our English.
I think it's James Brooks with an S or
No, just Brook, mate.
James Brook. I
Yeah,
can't
remember we
sure.
went there to watch him and Paul Harvey play
right.
against East 3 years ago.
That's right. And then they'll play Sioux City North. Again, more wins than their hosting counterpart at 8-5-3, but probably strength of schedule coming into play there as well. So, I mean, honestly, this is without a doubt the most wide open bracket. Would you agree, Matt? I'm not going to ask you that, actually, Titan. Blake, would you agree with that? The wide open bracket or no?
I think like as you
think
get
there's a
down lower
favorite?
and lower, right? It's kind of what we talked about a little bit is there's a lot of wide open regions. So it's definitely wide open. James, like he's got 7 wins, but he also has 6 ties, and obviously
6 ties is a crazy amount of ties, but it's the change in rules, right?
correct.
Isn't that great?
And so now you've got the penalties. So let's talk about penalties really quick, right? Because now that's like the new wrinkle that we've added to all these games that we really haven't talked about at all. And now in again, probably the most even, if you will, region, most likely there's going to be one overtime game, maybe potentially a penalty shootout.
I would say there's a lot because you look at
Well, I mean, there's only
schedule,
2 games, so like potentially
they've,
this one.
other than playing Indianola, their wins are by one, at the most 2 goals
Who you
against
talking about?
Urbandale, Waukee.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, they did Ty Valley, but like 1-0, 2-1, 1-0, 2-0, 1-0, 2-0. So, like, it is.
So they're a close game team.
Yeah,
How many shutouts do they have? That's my question.
a lot.
So there's a reason for that.
They have a lot.
Yeah. There's
Organized.
Yeah.
Good
yeah.
back four?
Yeah. Goalkeeper probably they probably got the best goalkeeper in the entire state, in my
And
opinion.
her name
Is that Lauren Nighty?
Probably.
I
She's-
don't know how to pronounce her last name. But
Yeah,
think
I mean
it's
she's
Nighty.
Lauren
Is it 90?
Nidey.
what I had heard
Sounds
is
like
she's
90 to me.
she's committed to University of Wisconsin Milwaukee.
Sweet. That's
Great little
awesome.
stadium up there, by the way.
I mean,
Yeah,
so
there is. Good for her. That's awesome.
she's tall. I mean, she's tall and lean, and so she can catch the ball up here.
I'm pretty sure her
And go get
father
'em.
is one of the assistant coaches for the Valley girls team.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's interesting, but I mean, to me, that's why they've got all those shutouts. But at 7-1-6, first of all, I think Waukee's going to have something to say about whether or not this is the most wide open bracket or not. I think they probably are going to say we're going to roll this one. But
Well, they're going to be tough to beat.
they're, I mean, they've in
We've only lost
7
once.
teams exactly. So, and then if you think about that, and I don't know how good their goalkeepers at penalties, but if you assume she's pretty good, you assume that they're going to have the advantage on penalties too.
So it's the team that's lost the most in the like of all the teams in the bracket. How do you feel? 'Cause you also have the least ties.
Yeah, we do. I mean, I feel good. I mean, I think we're going into this obviously eyes wide open. We've had an up and down season. You know, we've played with the best team in the state, and drawn them just in the last week or so. And we've also gotten
Which was?
Waukee Northwest, and then we've also gotten absolutely battered by Ankeny, 6-0, and Valley 4-0. So it depends on who shows up. You know, the team we want to be versus the team we don't want to be, I think. And so this is, you know, we've got a young team, and so it's definitely been a roller coaster ride so far, but I feel like we're moving in the right direction right now. We've sort of sat in the discomfort of what some of these results have been, and tried to fix some things, and we've really had some results that we just haven't been able to flip the other way in terms of some of the 1-game losses that we had, which were frustrating. But you know, we're looking at it like we're a team on the move, and so I'm hoping that we're the team that nobody wants to play, and we'll find out though this week.
Oh well, so we want to ask you your prediction, Blake. Who do you think out of Region 4?
Oh, man. I'm going to go with James Brooke, the English basketball coach. He is. I love the guy. So I'm going to give Shagger some.
Is Paul Harvey still sitting on the sideline there?
I don't think he is.
gets sack away.
I don't think he is.
All right. Well,
So there you go, Shaggy. There's some
Jimmy,
some motivation.
We'll see what he thinks. So I'm inclined, just for sake of conversation, to say that I think that the Dowling Catholic Maroons, it all comes down. It's one game at a time, right? So like, if I think that Matthew can coach a game, and so I think that if you, I was going to ask you, this is going to be kind of my next question is, so you've got Sioux City East, so it'd be really easy to just look at the name of Sioux City East and just kind of breeze over that and already start thinking about how you're going to beat Waukee. But then you've also got the quick turnaround to potentially play, and again, we don't know if it's Waukee or Sioux City North. But so how do you, like, you're kind of in crunch time. How do you approach these games? And, you know, how are your I assume your counterparts, everybody has access to so much film, so much technology. These kids are, I bet you they're like using they're doing ice baths. They're wearing cryo pants or whatever those things are. Have you seen those things, like the little icy, no?
I don't
What
think
are
that,
those called?
I mean, I don't know what you're talking about, Ben.
You haven't seen those things where you put like.
I mean,
put
I've
your
seen
legs
it,
in
but
the-
like I can tell you, our team is not doing ice baths or
I don't know.
cryo
You
or
think
anything
that
like that.
Waukee Northwest doesn't have ice baths?
I don't think we've. I mean, this is going to sound a little harsh for my team. I don't think we've worked hard enough to deserve an ice bath at this point.
Well, but so these are the things I'm just curious about. Like you've got all what's it look like for you to prepare your team for now? It's knockout games. You got penalties potentially on the line. You've got, and depending on whatever team you are, you've played maybe a much bigger roster. Now the game definitely matters. So if you can't just give somebody a few minutes to let them see how they do.
As the mates call it, cup finals, mate. Every game is a cup final. So how do you do that?
Sioux City East is it's an uncomfortable opponent actually for us because we know nothing about them, right? Except that they're 10-5-2, so they clearly know how to win games, and they've done that. And so 12 out of their 17 games they've been on either the winning side or the drawing side, and then and clearly we know how to drop some games with 8 losses and some big ones. So the key for us, I think, is and this is taking it one game at a time. We haven't blown out a team all year, so Sioux City East will be in the game against us, and so. I think we had a good result against Urbandale at 3-0 and 4-1 against Des Moines Christian, but those weren't blowouts. So they'll be in the game against us. I think we've got to look at putting together complete performances and eliminating silly mistakes that have shot us in the foot several times this year. And we've got to want to win. We've got to have some desire. I think that's big, and I think that our team's gonna show up, but it's hard. It's a hard opponent because we don't know who they are, and so It's the unknown. I think that is unnerving about that draw.
And then let's assume like you get through. You've got a rest day or a preparation day, and then you turn around and do it again. Mind you, this is all happening at the end of the school year, so you've got finals, you've got exams, you've got graduation, you've got end of the year performances, whatever, end of the year field trips, like all sorts of craziness, right?
They have field trips in junior, senior, but
okay, sorry, maybe like what are we calling them now? Field trips, like just days off.
Well, no, it's like
So
high
we've
schoolers
got-
don't have field trips. Elementary kids do though. But yeah, I get what you're saying, Ben.
Just
Dowling-
end of the year stuff.
Dowling seniors graduated on Friday, so that's out of the way. Girls have finals tomorrow, I believe. I don't know if they go into Wednesday
Is
or
it better
not.
for have them in school or out of school?
I think in school, to be honest with you, because you're just in your routine,
Yeah.
and you're in a controlled environment. Once you're not in school anymore, what are you doing? If you're going to the pool and laying out in the sun, I don't know. You staying up till 2 a.m. because you don't have to wake up till 9
remember
or 10.
some of the things. Remember like senior. There used to be some senior things,
Yeah, maybe getting up to some
extracurriculars.
silliness.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
But then
also,
also like even if you're not getting up to that type of silliness, there's other silliness you can there's always silliness.
yeah. I think it has to be a real challenge for every single senior in the state, right? You leave your school, you're graduated, you have this summer of fun ahead of you before you go to college when you're going to be completely independent, and so I think there's a lot of temptations.
Yeah.
And so you've got to really, you've got to basically say I've got 2 weeks left, and I'm going to focus in here.
So this is why I think high school soccer is so cool is you've got the opportunity to build a culture within a team. And so if you can get the crew, right, your group on board for just, like the mission at hand. And, so it's like, hey, let's buy into the next week. Let's buy into the next 2 weeks. Because you could literally have, the best teams, they've bought in all season. But now you've got the opportunity, if you can get a team to buy in for the next couple of weeks, that's all. It's a wide open field. No matter what, like boys, girls, no matter how heavily favored one team is over another, like it's literally just one game at a time. And now you've got shootouts, now like penalties, whatever. Like there's always a way to win.
Yeah. I think if we were to review all the interviews that we've done over the last few years, when we're talking to the state champions at the end of the year, they're all saying it like our team culture, like we were fighting for each other, we were disciplined, we had
It's
one
the
common
most
goal.
common
Right.
response we get, right? You get the girls teams that they're all doing their hair. Or they're trying to convince Dan James what to wear before and after the game and
Yeah.
whatever. Matt, are they?
Well, I think no, they're not going to do any of that. But like, I
I want to
can.
know if they've got the hair on the line for you.
I mean, so
There's not much there. So
yeah, I know. So here's what I'll say about. I mean, I can just talk about us in terms of our team culture. I think that's one of the challenges for, or it's been one of the challenges for me coming in as a first year coach. Right.
Yeah, how do you build it? Especially you didn't even have like the off season. You just got like the 1 week, 2 weeks leading up and said, hey.
Yeah, totally.
keys.
And so you're like, hey, try, telling a bunch of, teenage girls that you don't know, what things are going to look like and get them to actually buy in early on. I don't think it happens for anybody. So it's been a big part of the season, I think, is an adjustment period probably for them and for me too. And then decide, and I don't think you can say what your culture is going to be like until you actually, you're getting into it and you're figuring out who the personalities
your team
are.
develops it too, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
you can't just create something out of nothing. They have to help. They
Exactly.
have to participate.
Exactly. So, someone like, you mentioned Dan James now, who's had a couple of different championships.
Is he on 2 or 3?
Yeah.
DMS.
I think you
He's
can
on 3. He might be on 4.
you can see how these teams, just look at how the teams, I think, even just warm up, right? And like, I mean, I think you can tell when a team is in sync. DCG strikes me as one of those teams. Centennial as well. Chris has won several state championships now. When you go play them, like, you're playing a team. That's how I feel anyway. That's the vibe I get from their group. From their warm-ups to when you see them introducing each other, even in the starting lineups. So that's a huge, huge part of this. And at the end of the day, the regular season does not matter anymore, right? All your results, they're basically wiped clean. And so that's why you have to be on the move now, upwards. You have to be you can't have peaked yet. You have to be peaking at the right time. And this thing is so wide open for so many different teams that there could be, it could be us that wins it. I truly believe that. It could be Waukee Northwest. It could be Ankeny. It could be in Centennial. It could be a team from the east side of the state. And so it's going to be, if Carson comes back, maybe it's Bettendorf. It's going to be really interesting to see how things pan out.
That's why this is always such an interesting time of the year. You've got the opportunity to win with no history attached to it, right? So it just, I love it, and I've always thought it'd be so great to just like, essentially lose every single game and then just go on a 6-game run and be the champion. Unfortunately, well, the Hoover boys they've got a bunch of losses on their record against their will. Maybe that'll look like it at some point, but that's probably not a quotable thing. Okay. All right, so girls, what do we think?
I think we'll do another one after the regional finals.
Great. So what do
occur.
we think now? So we've got next Monday, June
For the
2nd.
girls?
Nope,
Tuesday.
June 2nd
You're
for
talking
the
boys?
boys. Is that's our first state tournament appearance for the Kick It Forward crew. We'll be
Who knows
watching.
what,
We
right?
don't know yet because everything's going to be remote. The quarterfinals all over the state. So we'll be watching probably on the television in some fashion or on the internet. And then we've got girls on Tuesday up in Ames at Lead Intramural Field. Then right? Is that sorry? Lead Athletic
Recreational. It's not the
Recreational.
intramural
All right.
fields, Ben.
Sorry. And then we're back to Des Moines then for the semifinals at MediaCom, and everything's going to be played at MediaCom this year for the boys. So that means that 1A and 2A are on Wednesday, and 3A and 4A are on Thursday. That would be the 4th and 5th. Also on the 5th, that's Thursday. That's when the girls go up back to Ames and play in the semifinals. Is that right, Blake?
That's correct.
And then on Friday, the boys' final will be at MediaCom all day, 1A through 4A. That's the 6th. And then the 7th, Saturday, Ames final. on the big field, on the big field.
Iowa State. Yep, the women's field.
There you go.
So is that turf or is that
No,
grass?
it's
they've
grass.
changed it to grass.
Grass, turf, grass.
So that'll be. I mean, that'll be a different game. Guarantee it.
Well, it's just so interesting for us too because
Even if it's on
we've-
grass.
We've gone from having
Compared
this
to
sort of like
recreational.
singular experience where it's all at one place and we're just kind of bouncing between everything and it's all happening at once. And now we're gonna have to we're splitting the baby a little bit. We're gonna be driving north.
hope
we're
I'm not,
driving
Ben.
south. Yeah, I hope. Well, yeah, fair enough. For us, we're gonna be driving all over the place. Seems like, right, Sievers?
Yeah, I love it.
Kick It Forward van's gonna
love
be. We're gonna get.
We need to get that battery charged. We need to get Windows
Yeah.
fixed.
Well, I think we're just gonna go.
We literally have no Windows because we lent it to somebody
Well,
and it didn't come back with Windows. But that's all right. That's a good. I love it. It's great. That shows our blue collar.
so here we are.
Stay tuned. Plays of the week. Pep's
State
Pizzeria. Get them in. Get those plays of the weekend.
Oh, can we get? We should give our state tournament assistant a shout out here for plays of the week. Oh, Brody Siebers, big penalty on the weekend.
Him and old Juice Lion.
I loved it.
I hope Brody's listening.
I wonder if Ethan can get his penalty up on the screen for us when we.
You just gotta show. This is how. This
Get
is
the
how
two penalties up, Ethan. Now again, we
Yeah.
we
No,
get
this is-
hassled for giving our boy a shout out.
These are our guys hitting these these real nice penalties. Get them up there because this is what the other kids should be thinking about because proper penalties.
There
right?
is going to be multiple shootouts coming down to
And
it.
you gotta
isn't
have
there?
you gotta have your and these guys both have their own little unique style.
These kids
Right?
are
Like
wide.
it's crazy. Blake's rolling his eyes because it's like it makes no sense.
It's so- so
you have
different styles,
but
isn't
I was,
it?
I was literally thinking about this, Blake. Like, did Brody say, "Dad, what do I do?" Absolutely not. He didn't. No, he just
I
did
hope
it.
not.
No, he
He's-
just
yeah,
didn't.
he
You would have
didn't,
done that.
What-
you
what
would have
was-
said, "Kick it hard over the goal."
He would have kicked it hard over the goal. What was crazy to me about when I watched that is he's clearly watching the Premier League games all the time.
Yeah, the pros are influencing these kids big time.
Because Brody stands off the ball right behind it, right? And then the referee blows the
He's
whistle.
gonna get a breakdown.
He gives a little side shuffle to his right, and Brody's left-footed, and so then he just strikes it
He
inside
sent the
of his
goalkeeper
foot.
the wrong way, though,
Yeah.
hasn't he?
And puts it in the left corner. It was a really good penalty.
E-man.
And so, I mean, I don't know why his dad has a problem with the walk-up. It was perfect. So then you had
Better than his old man would have done.
our friend Jojo Sathanarath's kid, the Juice, step up, and he hit the game winner, right?
Yeah.
So-
There's a little two-step shuffle.
So
Put
the
it
one-
down
what I
and,
heard
like,
about that
no-
one was the timing of the referee whistle. He backed up a little bit, right? Referee blows it. He's already mid-walk. And
He just didn't mess around.
He just opened his foot up and just side-footed it right
Yeah.
to the bottom corner.
That's the beauty of penalties. There's a million ways to take it and a million ways to miss it.
Yeah, but these kids are 10 and they're just placing the ball in an area where the goalkeeper can't get it. And so that is huge. It's a really smart decision, I think, from these young kids.
So here's my twist on this.
Believe me, we've had it before you go. We've had to spend a lot of time coaching the Dowling girls on penalties and just place the ball where you want to put it, right? And
Then
so
how do you coach the goalkeepers? Is my flip to that, right? Because you're talking about coaching the players to shoot it, but
Yeah.
a lot of times it is as simple. If you're the shooter, just place it, right? But if you're the goalkeeper, like if you're a goalkeeper and you can make it a little bit dodgy and if they don't really know what you're gonna do and you can
I'd say go
guess-
save it.
What's that?
Go save it.
That's what I'm saying. That for a goalkeeper, like
Yeah,
I think
save it.
goalkeeper. That's all you got. You have no suggestions on how to do it better than the next goalkeeper.
I think you put it on the ground. You either got to roof it and
You're
put it
not
in the top
anticipating?
corner, or you put it on the ground with enough pace into the corner. You got to go
Is
like
this a-
2 to 3 yards from the 2 yards
Evan,
from the
somehow
post.
find us a way to get this some comments out of this. So, let's see how do people like to shoot the penalty? Yeah, take the penalty. How do they like to save the penalty? Do you guess? Do you shoot the same way every time? Do you wait for the goalkeeper? Right? Do you guess? Right? I don't know. These are the questions. Blake, do you guess or do you wait?
I'm listening.
I told Fernando to just say what you can say.
Yeah.
All right, save what you can save. That's such terrible coaching. But for a 10-year-old,
Did you tell him to pick a corner? Did you pick a
10-year-old,
side?
that's reasonable.
That's the goalkeeper. Goalkeeper coaching.
Yeah.
Are we still talking about
Right.
this? All right.
What about
yeah.
the goalkeeper? You said pick a side. Did I?
I
No,
No.
he
can't
said
wait
save what you
to
can
see
save.
You can save. If it goes side netting, you're not going to save.
If
Right.
it was top corner,
If it comes here or just right here,
All right.
save it.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
So
Did he do that?
we're gonna
he did. He won. He
We're
won the
gonna have to
penalties.
find out.
Shootout.
How many did he get scored on though?
5 out of 7.
All
He
right.
made 2 saves. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Good stuff.
Penalties are going to be the big twist of the
They
state
are.
tournament. I think that is
Huge.
the
Talking
big
point,
twist of the
isn't
state
it?
tournament.
There will be upsets on penalties, right? Because the
People
games
aren't
will
going
be
to
so
practice
close.
them.
Exactly.
Or you're going to, and how hard is it to win 2 games on penalties in a row? It's nearly impossible. Point to some teams that have done it. Seriously, point to me some teams that have done it. It doesn't happen often.
I'm sure it happens.
Well, let's see. Okay.
More often than you think, but
Okay,
I don't know of anyone.
Let's see. Yeah, name some. All right.
Okay, so let's
Here we go.
let's
We'll see you
wrap
guys
it up.
next week. State tournament time, baby. Let's go.